So guys, welcome back to the channel. Montel Gordon here, and in today's video we're actually going to be jumping in and breaking down LinkedIn messaging versus cold calling. So stay tuned. So guys, I think this might be the first time you've actually seen the new setup. So one Sunday, one very spontaneous Sunday, I had the great idea to go and buy myself a nice little desk. Now that I'm actually starting to make some good money from entrepreneurship, the agency, the coaching business and stuff like that, you see, it's all about reinvesting into things that makes your life easier. I was working on some really shitty desk that was literally located right there in the corner, and now I'm working on a desk that's like, well, I'm about 6 foot and this is like taller than me. So hopefully you guys like the new setup. I love the new setup. I've got so much like real estate to work with. It's literally crazy. But guys, you're not here for that. You're here for LinkedIn messaging versus cold calling. So what I've got planned for you guys today is I've got a little document kind of set up on the computer, and what I'm going to do is kind of highlight and break down the actual benefits of both cold calling and then LinkedIn messaging, and then you can weigh up the difference and you can actually take it upon yourself which one you actually prefer to use within your agency and stuff like that. But spoiler alert, LinkedIn crushes the hell out of cold calling, and I'll get into that right now. So let's jump into my computer. Guys, welcome back to my computer. First and foremost, before I even get into this, I just want to say firstly that there is no definitive best method of outreach. It is completely niche dependent, so it depends on what sort of niche you are in. Maybe calling up a gym is the best thing to do, or calling up a restaurant is the best thing to do, because you may be able to get the owner on the phone right there and then. But I can tell you from past experience and having done over 300 cold calls in the dental niche, that cold calling is really ineffective in that niche and it burns up a lot of energy. But anyway guys, there is many factors that actually go into what sort of outreach method you should be implementing in your agency, depending on what sort of niche you're in, what you're offering. There's all sorts of things that go into it. Even the time of day when you're doing this sort of stuff, when you're actually doing the cold calls. There's so many factors that actually go into this. But guys, what I want to do is break down the benefits of both cold calling and LinkedIn. Then I'm going to basically break down the drawbacks, cons if you want, of both cold calls and LinkedIn. And then you guys can make an accurate assessment on what sort of outreach methods you should be using in your agency, depending on what niche you're in and all the other factors that actually play a part in that. So guys, let's take a look at cold calls real quick. As you can see, I've got some benefits here and some drawbacks or cons, if you will. So the benefits of cold calling is, yes, they are very, very quick to implement. I mean, it only takes you, literally there's nothing right now stopping you from actually picking up the phone and calling somebody within the next 10 seconds. You could literally pause this video, go to Google, and within a minute, find a business that's kind of like prospected, qualified for your service. You can call them up and you could possibly get the business owner on the phone. Now, like I said, it's very quick to implement. The calls will probably only last around 1 to 3 minutes if you're doing this correctly and if you have a good script. So it's very quick to implement in your agency. What I mean by quick as well, guys, is that you can actually get through to the business owner very quickly and speak to them directly very quickly. Whereas LinkedIn, you can't really do that. Well, I'll get into that in a second. And the second point is, another benefit is that you can actually get put straight through to the business owner. Now, this isn't really likely. Like I said just a minute ago, I literally did over 300 cold calls in the dental niche, and I wasn't able to set a single meeting because they were always busy or in practice or in surgery, as they call it, and that's just because dental practices are super busy. The dental owner, the actual dentist himself, is a really busy guy, and it's super hard to get them on the phone. Dentists, realistically, it's just not going to come to the phone. They're super busy. Some of the most busiest people I've ever worked with. So guys, I mean, to get through to a business owner like straight away on your first call is really unlikely. Again, it depends on your niche, because I can remember actually calling up car dealerships and getting straight through to the business owner as if it was just like magic. And that is definitely, from my experience, a good niche to be cold calling in. But the dentist niche, do not even try to attempt cold calls, because you're not going to get through whatsoever. Now guys, with cold calling, you can actually book meetings very quickly and get a yes or no answer right there and then. So I can see why cold calling is appealing. Because I mean, think about it. You can literally be one phone call away right now from having a meeting. You could literally call up a restaurant and get the business owner on the phone straight away, and he could say, you know what, yeah, let's have this meeting, see what you're all about. And you can get a yes or no answer right from him right there and then. Whereas like when you do outreach on like LinkedIn, you have to wait for an answer to get back to you, wait for somebody to get back to you, and it could slow down the whole process. And guys, cold calling is actually free to do. Of course it's free to do, unless, you know, obviously, except for you having to pay your phone bill, it is free to do, guys. I mean, there's nothing stopping you right now, again, from actually pausing this video, going to Google, typing in gyms in London or whatever niche you're in, and calling up a business right there and then, and it's completely free to do if you have a mobile phone. So guys, let's jump into some of the drawbacks. Now, see, cold calling, if you're new to this stuff and you're not good at sales and you don't really have that much experience, it can be very daunting, very nerve-wracking, and actually quite scary if you don't know what you're doing and what to say. I can remember doing cold calls and I was nervous as hell when I first started doing them. But guys, after a few cold calls, you actually start to get used to this sort of stuff. Now, while the fear might not actually go away, you do get used to you get used to the fear, and you can get used to that uncomfortability, and you just deal with it basically. Now guys, let's be honest, with cold calls, it's just a very low converting method of outreach. There's very low conversion rates. Now, I found around every 100 calls I did, there was around one meeting set. Now that's a 1% call to meeting ratio, which is around realistic numbers, to be honest. I wasn't the greatest at cold calling. Maybe you guys are getting much better numbers than that. Again, I wasn't the greatest at cold calling. I was actually quite nervous on my calls, but I did a lot of them, a lot of them. And to be honest, my time wasn't really well spent. I found that I got better results using other things such as email and LinkedIn and stuff like that. Now, with cold calling, there's no real value you're actually creating. You're just picking up a phone and dialing numbers after number. You're not actually providing value to that business owner. You're not actually looking into their business, diagnosing their business, spotting things that they may need to change, or the ways they are leaving money on the table, as you can do with LinkedIn and audits and stuff like that. Guys, you're just literally not creating any value. You're just picking up the phone and sounding like another sleazy sales guy, which leads me on to the next point. Guys, cold calling and going out your way to actually go and call a business can actually make you sound like a very sleazy sales guy if you do it incorrectly, and business owners are really put off by that. Like, it's kind of even like when you're chasing girls, for example. When you chase a girl too much, you can actually put them off, and when you chase a business owner the same way, it actually does the exact same thing. And guys, in some countries, they actually don't allow cold calling. I believe it's in the Netherlands, correct me if I'm wrong, that you actually, there's some sort of list, and business owners put their name on that list, and it's actually illegal to call them, and you can actually get fined if you cold call that business. Guys, if I'm actually incorrect on this, make sure you actually comment below and just rectify the mistakes so other people can see. But I believe it's in the Netherlands where you aren't allowed to actually cold call certain businesses. And guys, because of the very low conversion rates, it means you're gonna have to crank out a lot of calls to actually set that one meeting, which means by nature it's a bit of a numbers game. And what I mean by numbers game is, if you know you have to call 100 businesses to even set just one meeting, you're gonna have to call like 200 businesses to set 2 meetings. So you know you kind of know your numbers as to how many businesses you need to call, and so it's like you're just calling these back to back to get that 100 calls done, so you can actually set that one meeting. Guys, a bit of a numbers game, not a great way to actually provide value, not a great way to actually set meetings, to be honest with you guys. Now guys, moving on to the next point, gatekeepers are actually genuinely paid to keep you away, and so it can be hard to get the business owner on the phone. Think about it, guys. Business owners are so used to being cold called that they actually hire people and put them in place so they stop your calls coming through to them. Business owners have taken it upon themselves to pay somebody to actually stop your call from coming through. And so these gatekeepers are trained down to the T to give you rebuttals, give you objections, tell you that the business owner is busy or is in practice or he's not in right now and you have to call back. So guys, it can be very, very hard and tedious to actually get the business owner on the phone. And because of that, you're going to face many rejections, not from just the gatekeeper, but from the actual decision maker himself. And these rejections can actually come to you face to face. So it's like a real human saying no with their voice right to you. Whereas over on LinkedIn, if they say no, it's text. It doesn't hurt as bad. And guys, if you're new to this and you're getting rejected time and time again, because think about it, you have to go through 99 rejections to get that one meeting if your conversion rate is around 1%. If it's not, if it's more than that, then apologies, whatever your number is, just adjust the numbers accordingly, I guess. That's how many rejections you have to go through to get that one meeting. I mean, business itself is all about failing and learning and failing through, but guys, face-to-face rejections can hurt you and it can actually become disheartening. You can actually lose a lot of faith and start second guessing yourself as an actual business owner. And it can be very disheartening especially if you're new as well. And guys, when you go out of your way to cold call a business, you are a complete stranger and therefore you have zero authority on the call. You don't call the shots on the call. You can try be as slick as you want to be, but you've called them. You're in a position of weakness. You have zero authority. You've not provided any value and therefore you've got zero authority, guys. And guys, overall, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion, you might actually love cold calls and you might even be thinking, Montel, what the fuck are you talking about? Cold calls are the best. But in my overall opinion, it's a very inefficient way to set meetings. Now, that takes me on to LinkedIn messaging. And here are some benefits. As you can see, the benefits already outweigh the drawbacks. And as you can see with cold calling, the benefits don't really outweigh the drawbacks here. The drawbacks actually outweigh the benefits. But with LinkedIn messaging, the benefits, again, outweigh the drawbacks. So with LinkedIn messaging, guys, you can actually find 90% of business owners on there. And the platform itself is actually designed, it was specifically made for you to network with business owners and to reach out to business owners. So the whole platform itself is built so you can actually go and add business owners or connect with business owners and reach out to them to start networking and selling them stuff. That's exactly what it's for. It's built for that. It's a gold mine, guys. You also, by the way, guys, to the next point is you have a profile on there. And so what you can do is you can post valuable content on your niche and build up authority that way. You can actually provide real value to your niche through the content you post. So you can post stuff on your LinkedIn. For example, if you help gym owners generate leads on Facebook, you can actually start posting videos or even just pictures. And you can, by the way, if you want to do this, you can create your pictures on canva.com. But you can actually post pictures on your actual LinkedIn and entitle those stuff such as, top 10 Facebook marketing mistakes you need to avoid if you're a gym owner, or top 10 tips if you want to generate leads with Facebook ads. And people who are in your niche will actually find that valuable. And what that can actually do is it can actually mean that your conversion rates can actually will be increased. So your amount of messages you're actually doing. So even when you do message people and go out of your way to do an outbound sale, outbound sales are when you reach out to somebody. So you go out of your way to reach out to somebody. But even when you do outreach on LinkedIn, they are inevitably going to click on your profile and think about it. Whenever someone messages you out of the blue, you're probably going to click on their profile. And with LinkedIn, you have a profile and they can see what you're posting. And they will then be able to see if you're really about your word. So if you're talking about this marketing stuff and then they go on your profile and it's just completely dead, obviously they're not going to respond too well to that. But if you are reaching out to a business owner, a gym owner, and you've got a bunch of gym related content on there, like tips, highlights, value posts, and when you reach out to that gym owner and then he wonders to himself, oh, who's this Montel guy reaching out to me talking about this marketing stuff? He then goes and clicks on my profile and sees that I've got a bunch of tips on how to generate this the gym niche, great results. he's then gonna be warm to me because he can see that I'm serious about my business, and he can see that I know what I'm talking about, and that's gonna build authority, and it's going to solicit more responses. And I found that my conversion rates are around, let's say I do a message without a Loom video. Now a Loom video is basically, Loom is this little extension right here, where my mouse is right now, and it allows you to record your screen, kind of like what I'm doing right now, but you can actually go over a business's website and their social media and talk about certain things. But let's say I don't do a Loom video, it's just a normal templated like message with a personalized first line. I noticed that out of like around every 20 messages I send, I set one meeting, and that's a ratio of around 5%. Now that's on average, guys. It can fluctuate. It can there's all sorts of variables that go into it. The time I sent the message, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, guys, don't know why the percentage is backwards there. But guys, I also noticed that if I do Loom videos, about every 1 in 10 Loom videos I set a meeting with somebody. Now that is because I'm providing real upfront value, and they can see that I've taken my time and actually gone into their business, diagnosed it, and I'm not just trying to sell them some shit over the phone. They can see that I'm providing real value and I actually care about their business, and I'm showing them, hey John, this is why you're leaving money on the table. You don't have a pixel installed, which means you can't track all the traffic that's coming to your website, and therefore you can't retarget to those people, and those people could be guaranteed leads for you, and those leads could turn into revenue, and that's why you're leaving X amount on the table. So I can actually do that with Loom audits, and that's why people actually want to get on the call with me, because they can see that I'm looking in their business and thinking outside of the box. And guys, you can actually see on LinkedIn what sort of people are actually liking and even viewing your post. So when you post something on LinkedIn, obviously people can like it, and you can go through your likes and see who's actually liked your post, and that can actually be a conversation sparker right there. You could even say, John, hey, I seen you liked my recent post on how to generate leads for gym owners. I'm glad that you liked that. Is this some sort of area I can actually help you with, or you need help, or you actually need help with? And guys, when I'm talking about your post being viewed, so you can actually post something on LinkedIn and it can get a certain amount of views, and you can actually click on the views, and it will actually show you analytics of your views, like who's actually viewed it. Was it a business owner? Was it a marketing director? Was it some sort of CEO, a founder that's viewed it? People, you can actually see see what type of people have viewed your post. Another benefit of using LinkedIn messaging is that the basic plan is completely free. You can do this for free. Sales Navigator, if you use Sales Navigator, which is the paid version of LinkedIn, literally recommends pieces of information to you to use as your footing. So before you basically want to send a message to somebody, so let's say you've seen this guy, he's a gym owner or a real estate agent, it will literally, and you're about to message him, it will literally pull in information for you saying, hey, this person went to so-and-so school, or this guy was mentioned in a news article in the last week or something like that. It will literally show you relevant pieces of information you can actually use to customize your first personalized line and use as your footing. And guys, when you use Sales Navigator as well, Sales Navigator will literally recommend similar leads to you. So if you connect with somebody who's a real estate agent or who owns an estate agent, Sales Navigator will literally recommend you more estate agents that are very similar to that person. And guys, LinkedIn, it can be automated if done correctly. So if you're posting out valuable content and you just want to connect with a bunch of people, because you know that when you connect with somebody, hint, hint, great little piece of advice here. When you connect with somebody, they will view your profile. So if you're just trying to get a lot of eyeballs on your valuable content, you can actually set up your LinkedIn to automatically connect with business owners that then can come to your profile, see your profile. And if you've got some sort of value post that leads to a case study funnel, so you've got a value post that says, I don't know, top 10 tips for Facebook ads for real estate agents, and then at the bottom you've got a call to action, which is watch this free case study if you're interested in this, and then you want to get a lot of eyeballs on that, you can actually automate your LinkedIn to connect with very specific people, such as real estate agents that you're trying to actually target. They can then come to your profile because they're going to be wondering, who's this guy trying to connect with me? They will click on your profile, take a look at your profile, and you will have that content with that call to action, and that can actually generate you inbound leads. And guys, like I said, By the way, I don't really recommend you do your automation, such as, I don't really recommend automating outreach. I recommend you automate your connection requests at the very start when you've got LinkedIn, when you're just setting up, because nobody really takes you serious unless you have around 500 connects. And that's another drawback actually right there. Let me include that. So yeah, guys, sometimes you need over 500 connects to be actually taken seriously, but I'll get into the drawbacks in a second. And guys, as I was saying before, because you have a profile, it opens up access to both inbound and outbound sales. Think about it. When you're doing cold calls, nobody's really going to call you out of the blue unless you have really strong SEO on your website, or unless you've got some sort of profile they've seen. With cold calls, you don't have a profile. I mean, there's not really anything they can see when you call them, except for a random number on their mobile phone screen or on their telephone screen. With LinkedIn, when you message somebody, they can see your name, they can click on your profile, they can see what sort of post you're posting, and that can actually warm them up, and it can also bring you inbound leads. So let's say you connect with a business owner who's been thinking about marketing, but he keeps getting hit up by all these sleazy sales marketing guys through cold calls, but then you are posting actual valuable content and you look like you know what you're talking about. He can then message you, or even go through one of your funnels or go to your website and actually contact you, because you have positioned yourself as an authority figure and have that social proof to back you up. And guys, you can use Loom audits. Using Loom audits is a game changer. Again, Loom is this little free extension from the Google Chrome store. And what you can do is audit a person's business and show that you really care about their business, and show them stuff such as the ways they are leaving money on the table, what their competitors are doing, how they can fix this sort of stuff. You can do all sorts of different types of Loom audits to show them and provide real value. And guys, as you actually start connecting with business owners in your niche, more people then start connecting with you in that niche. So when I can remember when I was first starting to connect with real estate agents on my LinkedIn, it was a little bit slow, and it snowballs basically after a bit. Once you start getting a lot of connects with these real estate agents, more of these real estate agents then start connecting with you. So it actually snowballs like that. And again, people can see your content on your profile and then come to you through one of your links or one of your case studies, or even just message you right there and then on the platform. And guys, you can actually include external links in your messages and posts and have a strong call to action. CTA stands for call to action, which is basically like when you say, click here to see this free case study. So what you can actually do is create like a post on your LinkedIn, and you can even include links in that post. So you can actually link them to certain blog articles, maybe a case study funnel that does the pre-selling for us. You can even link them to your agency website, whatever it might be, or even like a YouTube video for more value or something like that. And guys, you can also include external links in your messages as well. So you can actually do this within your messages. Now, guys, there are a few drawbacks to using LinkedIn, but I couldn't really find that many. So guys, the first drawback of using LinkedIn is that it can take a long time to actually build up your connects. And that's when you're first starting, that is. If you're trying to get into a new niche, it might take you a long time to actually get into that new niche. I'm not talking like months here, I'm just talking about a few days, few weeks, because what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of third degree connects, which means you don't have any mutual connects in common. A second degree connect is basically when you have it's kind of like a mutual friend on Facebook. And then a first degree connect is when you're connected with somebody directly. So you're going to have a lot of third degree connects and beyond. And that just means that it might take you a long time to actually start building up your connects. But once you do, again, it starts snowballing and business owners come to you. Now, another drawback, guys, is people can actually ignore your message completely. So if you reach out to somebody, they can actually just completely disregard your message and not respond to you whatsoever. And in cold calling, that can't really happen, but you get rejected more often. So guys, another drawback is that your messages can look spammy if you don't do this correctly. There's a lot of automation going around on LinkedIn right now, and LinkedIn's really cracking down on it. That's why I don't really recommend you automate any form of outreach. Outreach should be done by hand all the time, or by a salesperson, by a real human being. That's exactly what I'm talking about. So you can have that real human to human connection. And guys, there are certain limits to the free plan. I believe you can only connect with a certain amount of people each day. Now, I don't actually know the limits. I don't even think LinkedIn discloses the actual limits themselves. But there's definitely certain limits on how many connects you can send a day. I haven't found that there's a limit on how many messages you can actually send a day, but I'm pretty sure that they must be if there's a limit on connects. And guys, another drawback is that Sales Navigator can be expensive for most people. It's £70 per month, I believe, in the UK. I think it's like $70 in the US. And guys, another drawback is that it can slow your conveyor belt down. Let's say you want to reach out to so-and-so lead and you have no direct emails left, which is basically where you can mail somebody even if you haven't connected with them. You have to wait for certain connects to accept your actual connection request, and then you can message them. And also, guys, it can slow the conveyor belt down because you have to wait for messages to get your message to get replied to, whereas cold calling, you can get an answer right there and then if you've got the business owner on the phone. And guys, like I said earlier, sometimes you need around 500 connects to be taken seriously, because like on LinkedIn, once you go over 500 connects, it doesn't really say how many connects you have. Well, this is at the time of recording. I'm not too sure if they're going to change this or not, but at the time of recording this, when you have 500 or more connects, it just says 500 plus connects. It doesn't say 621 connects or anything like that. So once you have that over 500 connects, people can see that you actually take your profile seriously and you're not just a spammy bot. So guys, that brings me to the conclusion of LinkedIn. Now, my conclusion is that while cold calling is definitely faster than using LinkedIn, it only gives you access to one form of sales. So it only gives you 50% of the power that LinkedIn does. And this form of sales is outbound sales. And outbound sales is when you go out of your way to drum up business. Also, cold calling really puts you in a position of weakness. You have no authority, you can't demand any form of respect, and you can't provide any real upfront value. Whereas LinkedIn actually allows you to gain access to what I like to call the hybrid systems, which is basically my fancy way of saying both inbound and outbound sales. Now, inbound sales is when the business owner, customer, lead, or client actually comes to you. So they come to you for your business, as you are seen as a trusted advisor, and thus the whole sales process actually goes a lot smoother, guys. When a business owner comes to you, you actually hold the power. They are selling themselves to you. You can actually position yourself as the expert, and they have to sell themselves to you as to why they should work with you, not the other way around. And guys, this really does happen, and I've got a whole free training on this if you want to check that out in the link below. And guys, when this happens, when you're the expert on the call, you can actually demand what you're worth, and it doesn't matter how young you are or how old you are, you can actually demand respect and your worth because you're seen as that expert. And guys, I also forgot to mention that one of the other benefits of using LinkedIn is it has its own search engine optimization functionality in there. So it has its own SEO algorithm, so you can actually rank for certain keywords, and business owners can find you based on the type of content you can actually create. So guys, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope that you found something of value of this. I hope that I've been able to spark maybe a couple of ideas as to what's working for me and what's not worked for me, and hopefully you can start drawing upon and taking upon some conclusions. And guys, I hope you've actually enjoyed the new little setup that I've got, and I hope that you've enjoyed this style of video where I jump in on the computer. If so, leave me a comment below and I'll definitely continue to do this sort of method. I know that today's video has been a little bit longer, but I just wanted to draw in and really drill down on some of the pros and cons of LinkedIn versus cold calling. And with that being said, guys, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Please drop me a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And guys, I will see you in the next video. Peace.